Good afternoon, class. Today we are going to go over Excel/Google Sheets commands that will help you in your lab, your future life, and your future in this class. This section we'll be going over the layout of Google Sheets. You can see that the columns are ordered in alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, E, and they are also ordered in numerical order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I were to click on a cell, it would be named first by the letter and then the number. So here we see it is cell B2. This cell, for example, is cell correct. It's D5. If I were to select a group of cells, you can see by the blue highlight, this would be selecting E1 to E6. And the syntax for that is E1:E6, or just dragging. In Excel, you can do math functions using this function section above. A function can be done by doing the equal signs. And so a simple calculation like 2 plus 2 is 4. Or 5 times 5 equals nothing because I didn't put an equal sign beforehand. Equals 3 squared. And we can also subtract numbers. So if I want to subtract C4 by E25, we can see that these cells are selected in orange minus purple. And we get the answer of 4 minus 25 is equal to -21. These skills are very helpful when you move on to larger data sets. So if I wanted to find the total number of students at this school, I would have to
go to the total, and I can either type in 440 plus 344 plus 341 plus 306.
Or I could refer to each cell.
Like B4 plus C4 plus D4 plus E4.
If I wanted to multiply this cell by 2, I can use parentheses like I would in a math class and then multiply by 2. This school doubled in size. If I have a larger data set, I can do the same calculation, and you can see that Google Sheets knows what I want it to do. If I want to apply the same function, the sum, but do that to row 5, row 6, and then row 7, what I can do is actually drag this cell down, and you can see that now it says sum of this row, row 6, and now it says sum of row 7. Another thing I can do is actually calculate the average, which is done by doing equals average, and we can see that these functions start to show up. Average, actually it's so smart, it wants to do it for me, B4 to B7. And if I want to apply the same function but across the row, I'll just drag this across. So now when I dragged it across, it's on column C, and then I can keep dragging it across. Google Sheets has wide applications in lots of different type of calculations, such as conversions. So if I wanted to find the price of USD in euro, I can refer to this cell and then multiply by this conversion factor, 0.93. What would I do? I can drag this across, except we see zeros happen. And why? It's because when I dragged it down, now it's referring to B9, which is empty. And here it's referring to B10, which is also empty. So what we do instead is we make an absolute reference, which means I wanted to only refer to the cell that is in B8. To do this, we do the absolute reference syntax, which is money sign in front of the column and money sign in front of the row. Now, when I drag this down, it shows up as we'd like it to. Now, class, we are trying to solve for the height of the tree from eye level. And so to do this, we're going to be using the tangent function of this angle in degrees multiplied by B to get the height of the tree, where C is equal to the height of the tree, B is equal to right, the distance between the person and the tree, theta is equal to the angle determined by the clingometer. That's all we really need. To do that, we're going to take mock data from the data I fake collected. These are not your values. Clearly, this is only for an example for your understanding. So height 1 refers to C, the height of the tree from eye level. And so we're going to be using the tangent function, which, as you can read, is the angle is in radians, but we collected our angles in degrees. Fortunately, we can actually use a function called radians to convert our angle in degrees to radians. Now I will select 65. And now we found the tangent of this. This answer is incomplete because we didn't multiply by the distance, which is in the cell over here, G10. Before we drag, what should we do? Right, we are going to make this an absolute reference. So when we drag it, it does not move from this spot. Now we got a reasonable answer. And now we drag it and we can see that this would be the height, and it varies between the angles. So if I change the angle to 70 degrees, this answer changes. To find the tree volume, here you can just make a formula of what a volume would be, but referring to the cells in Google Sheets. To find the volume of a tree, to find the mass of the tree, the carbon in a tree, and the carbon dioxide by the tree, you'd benefit from using these few givens that were in your lab, which I created here. Then you can use unit conversions to convert from the volume to the mass to the percent of carbon in a tree to the ratio between carbon to carbon dioxide in a tree. Lastly, don't forget to calculate the average as we were shown previously. Good luck with your lab report and have a pleasant day.